Welcome back to the Lockwood Chronicles. My name's Larissa and today we are going to be going over my September wrap-up. It seems to be a common theme this month that pretty much everybody on the booktube community went through a little bit of a reading slump, whereas some people's reading slump went from them reading 20 books to 10 books or whatever. Mine went from reading, 4 or 5 books to down to 3. So yeah, I mean, I'm obviously not on that level of that booktube community, but yeah, so I only read 3 books this month, which I, kind of disappointed just because there were so many books that I wanted to get to, and again, it was just a really, really busy month. Oh, I'm so sorry. My space heater is on because even though it says it is 67 degrees in my house, it is warmer outside where it is like 63 degrees than it is inside of my house, and I am so cold, so I may be wearing my sweatshirt a little bit later, but I just really love this top. It's so cute. Anyway, I digress. Where was I? Oh yes, I read 3 books this month. Kind of disappointed because I did have quite a few books that I really wanted to get to, and it just ended up not working out. I got super busy. I increased my hours at work, so that was a decrease in time, and I've been reading a nonfiction book on my lunch breaks, and I still haven't finished that one, rather than reading my fiction or like my fun reads for the month. So there's that, and I am just cracking everything. The first book I read this month is none other than, again, Ugly Love. We don't need to dive too deep into this. I have a reading vlog and I have the book of the month. I have the book club, Lockwood Chronicles book club episode all about this book, so we don't really need to get into it. I liked it. It's a situationship, friends with benefits kind of situation with a lot of trauma. I did cry at this book. So there's that. If you want more in-depth thoughts, please watch the reading vlog or read the book and then watch the book club episode for it. I did really enjoy this book. It was my first Colleen Hoover book, as I've stated many times, and I'm excited to continue on reading her other works and continuing on the coho train that everybody else is on, because I love being part of a group. The second book that I read is the novella of A Court of Frost and Starlight, part of the ACOTAR series. It is, you could say it's the 4th book, but it's a novella, so technically a mid-book. It takes place during winter solstice and the celebrations surrounding that, as well as what our favorite characters are going through at that time. And I think Feyre and Rhys are in first person, and we do get switch characters, like with Cassian and Nesta a little bit, Rhys. We get a little bit of more, yeah, and those are all in third person. Feyre and Rhys are in first person and everybody else is in third person, which I thought was an interesting choice. I don't know why that was needed to be deciphered, so there's that. No idea. I enjoyed it. It's a very winter book. Again, it takes place at the winter solstice, so I wish I would have read it then, but I really want to finish the series, or like continue on with the series. So I'll be reading the Silver Flames one, which is a different size. I'm upset about. But I'll be reading that probably in November, because I didn't get to it this month and I really wanted to read it. If you're gonna read this, yeah, I mean, it's a nice little winter book. It has a little bit of that like family celebration with presents and all of that stuff, and it's very cute, and it kind of goes through how people are coping with what happened after book 3, how people are adjusting into normalcy or different coping mechanisms, and just more development upon relationships between certain characters. In case you just haven't read the series, obviously I don't want to give you any spoilers because I'm obsessed with this series. Book 2 is still my favorite. Last book, I just finished reading this. It's Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zavine, and really enjoyed this. It is very nostalgic for, you know, early 90s, late 80s video game development and that kind of era. It makes you very nostalgic for those games, and since that was like a big era for me, because I was born in the 90s, I know, crazy, I look amazing, and it just kind of gives you that nostalgia for those games. And it's about friendship and the trials and tribulations throughout many years with those friendships, and I think it spans from the late 80s into the 2000s, and there's a bunch of different historical events that happened throughout that point that, you know, actually happened in the real world. It's very good at making you believe that these games that exist in this book are real because they are interwoven into history and what was happening around that time. And like I said, it is a beautiful story about friendship and the development of friendship throughout the years, and love and loss, and video games at its core. And the last 100 pages, or when I got to the last 100 pages, I sobbed. If you follow me on my Instagram, I was having a massive breakdown. I was sobbing so hard, and I just couldn't stop. It was embarrassing, but needed. Very cathartic, but yeah, it was very, very, very sad. It's also a non-linear timeline, so sometimes the narrator will unexpectedly switch from the current time that they're talking about into like a future timeline and then switch back, and there's not much to decipher between the two, or it will like skip all of a sudden, like fast forward a few years, and so that was a little bit confusing, but also I feel like added to the story. Friendship is at its core. That is 100% what it is, and just kind of like developing yourself as a human throughout your age, which, you know, you kind of see as you grow and you get more experience in life, but it also makes you reflect back on your youth and how important that naivety, being naive, what a gift that sometimes is as well. I would say it's a slower story, slower build. Just be wary of that. If I'm not like in a reading slump, and I know I'm not, but I've definitely been reading more slowly, and this is a little bit lengthier of a book. So if you're kind of headed in that direction, this might not be what you're looking for. I don't know. I also feel like it's kind of more of a winter read, but that's just like a fall winter read, just because like there's school mentioned in here and there's winter mentioned in here, but really did enjoy this book, so I would recommend it. All right. Yep. These are the 3 books that I read in the month of September. We know that my October TBR is big for me, for my standards, and things just keep adding, because I keep getting Libby updates that the books that I've been waiting to read are now on hold, and it's been like 3 books. I'm like, I don't have time to read these, so we'll see what happens. You know, like I said, TBR is a guideline. It's not the law. It's the pirate's code, that's for sure. So enjoy your month. Let me know what you read in the month of September, as well as if you read any of these books and what you thought as well. Thank you for being here today. Remember to like this video if you like these monthly wrap-ups. I love doing them. They're probably my favorite videos to do. As well as subscribe to my channel, please. That'd be super awesome. I get a lot of validation through that, which is terrible, but I love external validation, so. And yeah, with that, respect others, respect yourself, and do something amazing with your day. Thanks. Bye.